So I just saw this headline that said the Warriors are thinking about how to discipline Draymond Green after striking a teammate. So allegedly he struck Jordan Poole. I'm gonna read some excerpts out of this article from Sports Illustrated. I'm just looking through it here right now. It says the team is reportedly considering disciplinary action against Draymond Green after he and Jordan Poole were involved in a physical altercation on Wednesday, according to a report by The Athletic. The dispute reportedly stems from behavior on Poole's part. According to Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports, tension had been building up between Poole and teammates, who noted a change in Poole's behavior throughout training camp. There's been speculation that change stems from Poole being on the verge of securing a contract extension. The incident occurred during practice, which was stopped momentarily to allow the situation to cool down, according to the report. Although Green and Poole are reportedly known to commonly argue with each other, Warriors management is concerned by Wednesday's escalation. So this is interesting. I'm going to just break down a few things. According to this article, they're saying that Poole's behavior has changed since starting this training camp, that in the past he was different, and that is just due to him being on the verge of getting a contract extension. I think that could mean so many different things. After you win a championship, there is a level of arrogance that occurs with a lot of players. I've noticed a lot of guys become really arrogant. Even role players become arrogant. I've seen this before on championship teams. I just look at Mario Chalmers. That dude was super arrogant. The way he acted like he was a star on those Miami Heat teams when he was just a role player. You could say that about even the Lakers during the 00s with Derek Fisher. I saw the arrogance on that man. Just he had supreme arrogance. But I would say, to be fair to Fisher, he was a good teammate in the locker room. I don't know the same about Poole, but I'm just saying that when you win a championship, even the role players can feel like they're star players now when they're not. So that could be the case in Poole and in Poole's mentality. He might be feeling that he's a legit star, that he's on the verge of being a all-star superstar talent. I'll say this: he was, a great third or fourth option for the Warriors last year, just by averaging 18.5 points a game, 18.5 if you didn't hear me. So those are very good numbers. Those are like borderline, like, just on the verge of being an all-star. Grant, I don't think he can be an all-star on the Warriors. I think part of the reason his numbers are so good is because the center of gravity Steph Curry generates, and even Clay. Granted, Clay's not as good as he once was, but just that attention the defenses give them just allows him more room to operate. So, but I'm sure in his mind he probably believes he's an all-star. So that could probably be rubbing his teammates the wrong way. Maybe he's showing them up in practice, or he's acting like he's above them now, or he's on the same level as guys like Curry who have been there, who are like legit stars, and Clay. Granted, I think Clay is no longer a star, but he has that credibility, among the Warriors, since he was there, part of their original championships. And granted, I don't think Draymond Green's a star, but he probably feels that he's better than Draymond Green, and I'd say he probably is. Granted, I don't respect Draymond's game. I know people will argue with it, but I think Draymond's greatly overrated. Just so he might feel that he's better than Draymond Green at this point in time, and he could feel like, hey, you're not going to talk to me like this, Draymond. You're not going to put me down. Look what I did last year. You guys would not have won the championship without me. Steph may be the best player on the team, but you needed my production during the playoffs. You needed me to step up. So you can't just do me like this. That could have been the case because they're saying that these two guys have fought with each other before in practice. Not physically, but they've had arguments. And this could be him just telling Draymond that, hey, I'm on your level, or I'm better than you. So watch what you say to me. And guys like Draymond don't take well to people standing up to them. Draymond, in my eyes, has always been a punk. He's always been a bully. He's a guy that likes to bully people and intimidate people and scare them. And so he's not used to someone standing up to him. Just look at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was a superstar, but he was still Draymond's bitch. If we're being honest, Kevin Durant was scared of Draymond. That's why he could never really stand up to him, and he got punked by him on many occasions. I think Draymond knows he can bully a lot of guys. He can intimidate them, and he uses that to his advantage. I also believe Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Clay, these guys know Draymond's a punk and he's a bully, but they still like him only because they benefit from his bullying, the way he gets away with stuff on the court, the way he's able to get away with things defensively with the refs not calling a foul, how he's allowed to play dirty. It benefits them. They know it. They know it. It protects them. It gives them a level of confidence knowing that this guy's there to be a goon for them, and that's why they turn a blind eye to that. So that's why he's been emboldened over the years, because I think he knows it too, that these guys, they need him to be dirty. They need him to be a goon, and they just turn the other way. So that's what I'll say about that. I know I went on that tangent, but because of that, Green just doesn't have just a limit on what he can do within the Warriors, because he just knows there's not much they can do to punish him as long as he's under contract. And as long as they're winning, I think he knows he can get away with it. Now, if they're not winning, I think he's on a thin leash, as they would say. I think if the Warriors didn't win the championship last season, they probably would have traded him after all the antics he had pulled during the playoffs with his craziness. So he's on the verge. If the Warriors somehow lose in the playoffs this upcoming season, and they fail to repeat, I do think he'll be out. So maybe he's feeling it. I think Draymond Green might be a free agent this year, and maybe there's some jealousy that Poole got the extension and he didn't, and he wanted the extension, but he didn't get it. There's probably some pride hurt in him where he feels that, hey, I'm part of the Warriors' original big three, quote unquote. I deserve this money, and you're giving this young kid an extension. Why don't you look out for me? So there could be that type of jealousy where he took it out on Poole. And Poole, being a young guy, could have had some pride and said, hey, I'm not going to take your crap. And as much as I'm not a fan of either, you got to respect Poole standing up to him if that was the case. And even if Poole was a dumb guy, a bratty dude, and he was talking shit in practice, Draymond, as an elder, overstepped his role, just by striking him. You can't do that. And it shows that Draymond is immature. He's a punk. He's above 30, and I never get past anybody above 30 for behaving that way. You know better at that age. And if you haven't learned, that just means you're a profoundly stupid person, which Draymond is. So that's what I'll say about their tussle, or whatever you would call it. But will this affect the Warriors' ability to repeat? I'm going to say no. Most likely it won't have any effect on it. NBA teams, there have been fights and practices before, so I think they'll still be fine most likely. This is what I would call just a little ripple in their chemistry. Could it become a big ripple later on? Possibly. It depends. Maybe Poole could become a troublemaker in the locker room. Maybe he could take them apart, but I doubt it. But there's always a small chance that could happen, especially if the Warriors go through a stretch where they're struggling this year, or they're having a losing streak, or even the playoffs. If they face some adversity, maybe Poole will rebel against Draymond, and that could cause the team chemistry to fall apart in a tense series where they had to face a tough opponent that can match them. That could be the difference maker for sure. But for now, I wouldn't read too much into it. But that's something to monitor throughout the season, how Poole and them function together chemistry wise. So that's all I had to say about this, to be honest.